And after 4 years of higher education, why don't they know that everyone instantly recognizes AI generated resumes? I'm Kim Commando for The Current, my 5-star rated newsletter read by a million folks like you. Sign up for free at getkim.com. Oh, look, here comes another so called highly motivated self starter who thrives in fast paced environments. How original. At larger firms, HR automatically rejects these applications. Most smaller firms do too, but at least they get seen by a human before they're thrown away. But say one actually grabs your attention. You can't trust a video call because a robot can sit off camera feeding answers. So you need to bring the person in and give them a task. We run in-person skill tests for every single job. A funny thing, we asked AI to write the tests and also build the scorecard. And for more tech smarts, get my free newsletter at getkim.com. Hi there, I'm Kim Commando. Tech isn't just a part of our lives anymore. It runs our lives. From the phone in your pocket to your bank account, your job, your car, your kids, even your home security. Everything's all connected. And the truth is, most people are just trying to keep up. That's why I created The Current. It's my free daily newsletter that gives you the most important tech stories, the ones that actually matter, delivered in plain English with no fluff and no politics. I cover AI, crypto, scams to avoid, gadgets worth knowing about, and how to protect your privacy in a digital world that just doesn't slow down. Almost a million smart people already get it, and it's rated 5 out of 5 stars on Google and Trustpilot. Every American needs to understand how tech is shaping their lives, and The Current helps you do just that every single morning. Sign up right now at getkim.com. My newsletter 100% free. That's getkim.com, and I'll see you in your inbox tomorrow.
Talkback, Central Louisiana's longest-running talk show, is now everywhere you are. Talkback is now streaming live on X at Cenla Update, plus Facebook and YouTube at KSYL. It's Talkback, Central Louisiana's longest-running talk show. Whether it's the guests or the callers, Talkback is where Central Louisiana begins its conversation.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Talkback. It is Wednesday. We are midweek. I'm Al Quartermont along with Stephen Maxwell, and so glad that you all could be with us here today, as hopefully you're doing your best to survive all the rain out there. Yesterday was pretty crazy, especially in the morning, and especially kind of points south of us. I know, Stephen, you got out there and had a chance to drive into some of those areas that were flooding, and it's amazing how quickly the waters can rise and just kind of swell in this area, and you got to see some of that yesterday.
Yeah, Glenora, McNary, those areas out there got a lot of rain, and a lot of the back roads back there around Highway 113. Once you get closer to the intersection of 112, it was pretty flooded, dangerous situations. So they're advising people to pay attention and not drive through them as much as possible.
Yeah, and we'll see what today brings. I'm sure we'll get a little more rain today. Calling up my Cenla weather app right now. It's loading in, thinking about it. Yeah, today we've got a 60% chance of rain, 80% tomorrow, 80% on Friday. And now we're kind of looking at this tropical storm potential, a system that they have named Arthur. Nick Mikula says about it, Arthur will do as he pleases.
See, I didn't get that.
He said 3 people over 50 laughed at that.
Do you get it?
Yeah. Arthur, he does as he pleases. Arthur was a movie in the 1980s.
Oh, okay.
And the song, the theme song, was Christopher Cross. But
I'm sorry.
yeah, it was a movie with Dudley Moore where he plays a perpetually drunk and completely rudderless, wealthy New York playboy.
I thought it was Arthur the cartoon, like the Mole Rat or whatever he was.
Isn't that one like, Hey, it's Arthur? It was not the song?
Hey, Arthur or something?
Yeah. Anyway, I digress. Thanks, Nick. Thanks for sending me on that little rabbit trail. That was little Easter egg in his report there.
The little mole rat.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, yeah. And then he says, check out the movie Arthur and Christopher Cross. Okay. So back to the weather stuff. This system is going to be heavily tilted to the east. So I know it looks scary with the center coming overhead, but I think the highest chance for flooding rain will be to our east. I do think there will be a solid area of rain close to the center, but that should be more manageable. My forecast for the next couple of days are for low rainfall totals in northwest parts of the area, 1 to 5 inches possible southeast of a line from Leesville to Pollock to Alla. I still think we have a decent rain chances area-wide for Friday and Saturday. And this is Nick saying, I reserve the right to change this forecast, but as I see it now, the worst stays east. What an insane ride from droughts to please make it stop raining. That's so true.
Mm-hmm.
My goodness.
Yeah, it's they definitely don't need it in the south over here. I think we got enough rain. We're happy.
Yeah.
It is what it is. It is the season.
Yeah. So it's just amazing how quickly some of those kind of lower lying areas can really flood. But we were getting a ton of rain. Ground is already saturated. So that's what always kind of happens.
One of my, I'm not going to say favorite things. One of the, I shouldn't say favorite. And I'm from these areas. I'm from more country than Highway 113. So I can say this, right?
Mm-hmm.
I love it whenever these things happen, because when you go out there, it's like an invitation for everyone to go and look at it. Some of them see if they can drive through it, which you should not drive through.
Right.
So,
right. Yeah.
But it's funny. So.
Yeah. I saw you had an interview with a Union Hill person.
Yeah. I think his name's Jonathan Ray. And he was out there on his four-wheeler just kind of watching it go by and stuff. And
yeah.
Because we parked our car at this road right before the bridge over the Calcasieu River off 113. And we left it there for about an hour. And I think they were residents down the road, and they were like, what the heck is this? Because if you've seen our car, it's got every radio station's emblem on it. It's very noticeable.
Yeah.
Because we were riding around with Police Trooper Parrish Giles. He was taking us around to see all the spots. And I had our drone guy, JT, with me, and we got in and out. And
nice. All right. Here's some of that interview you did.
Are you concerned for the next couple of days?
I'm not concerned, not where I live, but maybe for other people and other people's safeties. But as far as me and us, we ain't too worried about it.
Tell us about the flooding. Is this usual for the area?
Not really. It's probably only the second time I've seen it go over the highway right there. With that bridge going on, I was like, wow, we got a lot of rain. But some of the other places around, I was like, it's normal.
All right. So he didn't seem too concerned.
No, I don't think they're worried about it.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe a little some are. If it's coming up to your home, you're a little worried about it. That's no fun.
Well, it's handy to have a drone guy.
Yeah, he loves shooting video too. He's really good.
Yeah.
He's I don't know if he wants his business out there, but he's former military. He used to do a lot of media for the military as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he does a great job.
Oh.
So he's retired now. So
nice.
You'll see him a lot out there for us. He shoots some video.
He serves the role of, in the old days, we used to call it stringer.
Yeah.
Somebody that would either get video or audio or even write stories.
I told him to be like, or I should tell him, what was that movie that we watched? Night Runner or something? What do they call it? It's that.
Nightcrawler?
Yeah.
With the
just jump over the caution tape, man,
yeah,
and just get the good video. God, that was a stupid movie.
That movie makes me angry. And so many people, that's a great movie. No, it's not.
I knew that's how the media was.
Yeah, it's like, no, we literally don't do that.
Back in the day, before that, it probably was a little bit different.
Maybe.
But,
maybe.
I wanted to say this before we move on. Please say a prayer for a young man from Central Louisiana. His name is Boston.
Mm-hmm.
He seems to be about 7 or 8, if I had to guess. I think they're from the Grant Parish area. They've made a page and everything. He started getting sick. They took him to the hospital, and they found out he has an aggressive brain tumor. And so they flew him to St. Jude's last night. It's going to be a tough one, but everyone's they're asking for prayers, and I linked the group that is posting information on how you can help him. But it's just heartbreaking. So please pray nonstop for him.
Yeah, it's called Boston. Boston's Battle. Boston Pace is his name. And they have, let's see, Is that like a GoFundMe? They have some kind of fund set up.
Yeah, they have a bunch of different businesses doing raffles. There's a GoFundMe of some sort. So yeah, it's pretty heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Pretty awful.
They have a pancake fundraiser that the sheriff's office is doing as well. That's coming up on June 26th. That's next Friday from 6 to 9 a.m. in the parking lot of Dry Prong Baptist Church.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, here's the account. It is a GoFundMe. Yep.
Okay.
So,
well, if you go to my page, you can click the link there for the group called Boston's Battle.
Yeah. That's such a tough one for a little kid to be going through, but he looks like he's a brave little guy.
Yeah.
Mm.
And pray for his parents and siblings as well.
Yeah. Oh, that's sad. So anyway, 318-442-8255 is our number. Coming up at 7:30, we'll be talking with Jeff Powell. He's the superintendent for Rapides Parish Schools. We'll have a number of things to talk about, as we also have several tax renewals coming up in the ballot a week from Saturday. And as you continue to early vote this week, depending on where you live, now there are some parish-wide renewals, one for $14.3 million. District 52, which is Pineville, has a renewal for maintenance for the Pineville schools, including Leslie Moore, J.I. Barron, the elementary school, Pineville Junior High, and Pineville High School. And then the Poland District has a renewal for maintenance for Poland Junior High. And District 62 has a renewal for maintenance for the City of Alexandria schools as well. We know how people love to vote on taxes, right?
Oh, they're excited.
But the renewals are important. So it's not a new tax, as they will tell you. These are renewals. And then we also have the sheriff's tax. That's a renewal also. And, of course, the main race that might draw some people out will be that for U.S. Senate. Did you see Scott McKay's take on the race?
I did not.
Okay. His headline is Louisiana Republicans will need to do better than the Letlow-Fleming race. He basically says that the race has been uninspiring, and over the past few days, it's been even a little worse than that. He says the two candidates have done a pretty good job of tearing the Republican Party apart, and they're doing it over some really weird things. He talks about Fleming making carbon capture one of his main issues. He says there's a small cadre of people who are exercised over the issue. And he says, yes, the entire subject arises out of a dumb Green New Deal initiative born from the mistaken idea that carbon dioxide is poison rather than plant food. But if you rank carbon capture on the list of what most people in Louisiana care about, it's going to be exceedingly low. People want car insurance rates down. They want gas prices down. They want economic development. They want to save the culture so we don't turn into the mess that Europe has become. They want criminals off the streets, potholes gone from the roads, and they'd like us to not be at war. What we're seeing instead in this race is Fleming versus Landry at each other's throats, because Team Fleming is accusing Letlow of being Landry's puppet. Fleming is bashing Letlow over the horrendous job interview video from a few years ago. Also want to talk about DEI. A Letlow-affiliated PAC has been hammering Fleming for supposedly lying about his job as deputy chief staff at the White House, when we're really talking about semantics and who cares about a job title when we know he worked in the White House, serving in Congress, and is currently state treasurer. The man does not lack qualifications for the job. But then there are the outside people, some groups, somewhere putting out AI videos with bad likeness of Letlow, confessing to all the reasons she shouldn't be elected. And the race has just gotten so nasty that just about everybody you talk to is disgusted. He does talk about the online group Save My Louisiana, saying, we understood it was formed to stop carbon capture projects, but now is a Fleming camp surrogate, putting out a defense of the video after Landry, Congressman Clay Higgins, and Letlow herself threw a fit over a clip in the video where Julia says, AI Julia, says she was going to be the president at Monroe until her late husband Luke died and she was appointed to his congressional seat. McKay writes, the thing is, Fleming and his campaign didn't create the video, but he committed a grievous political error by sharing it and babbling about the issue it raised. It isn't that raising those issues is off limits. It's that the ad should have been radioactive for Fleming for a number of reasons. Kind of skipping through this a little bit. He said Team Fleming shouldn't be attacking Letlow for carbon capture or connections to industrial energy. They shouldn't be getting into hissing matches with Landry or Higgins. They should be attacking her for the fact that her fiance is a lobbyist, not when a lobbying firm, they shouldn't be, he said, not when a lobbying firm is paying Fleming as a retainer. They should be focused on the fact that she has a voting record slightly to the left of Bill Cassidy, and that her DEI job interview at ULM marks her as an opportunist more than a principled conservative. And it's a race Fleming can win. He said if he were laser focused on that narrative, he'd have a compelling case for winning. But he's coming off a 45-28 whipping at Letlow's hands in the primary, which was nonetheless enough to put him in the runoff. And he's still talking about things that won't move the needle. So anyway, he said, as for Letlow, I have yet to see her address the concerns about her voting record. She has a viable defense, which is that if you represent the 5th Congressional District in Louisiana, it doesn't matter how conservative you are, your voting record will come off as moderate, because what matters in LA 5 is the Farm Bill and how much swag you can bring home from DC. You're basically an appropriator because your district is dirt poor and you need federal money flowing in, because private investment in Northeast and Central Louisiana is hard as hell to come by. So yeah, she's made deals to support stuff she wasn't a fan of because of what it took to get the money flowing. But she hasn't addressed that, and nor the DEI stuff. And then he concludes saying it's just a race everyone's about sick and tired of. I think that happens kind of every time, though, don't you think? I mean, people get tired of the ads and they just kind of want it to be over with.
Yeah. I mean, if you would look at the signs across Central Louisiana, you would think it'd be Fleming all the way.
Right.
But I think it was pretty tight in Rapides Parish during the primary as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so she did pretty well, it looked like. It's gonna be a interesting one.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a tough one for him.
I think it's gonna be a lot closer than the primary was. But,
could be, yeah.
You know, we'll see. And also with the AI video and all that, I think a lot of the political types are making a lot of hay with it. I just don't know how much the average Louisiana is really paying attention. And again, it's really going to come down to who gets out the vote, because I think we're going to have, if we even get 20% out, to me, it's going to be a lot.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Yeah.
So anyway, all right, we need to take a break. Superintendent Jeff Powell will join us on the phone when we come back, so stay with us.
KSYL.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Amazon is said to be facing a possible lawsuit from the Federal Trade Commission that may lead to billions of dollars in civil penalties over claims the e-commerce giant misled advertisers. The investigation focusing in part on whether Amazon properly disclosed the terms and pricing relating to its ads. Multiple state attorneys general are also involved. No comment from Amazon. Checking on the market, stock futures are holding steady this morning. Attention is focused on Kevin Warsh's first meeting as chairman of the Federal Reserve. No changes expected for interest rates this afternoon. And it took Elon Musk 54 years to make his first $1 trillion. And in just a few days, he's already nearly a third of the way to his next trillion. According to the Bloomberg Billionaires Index, Musk's fortune has risen to $1.3 trillion as of yesterday. This report is sponsored by Vanguard Investor Choice, a proxy voting program for eligible Vanguard Index funds. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
Watch out. The summer slump is trying to take root. Luckily, you can plant a seed, read, with Rapides Parish Library's summer reading program for all ages. Read what you love, log your minutes, and win cool prizes, books, fun, and freebies. That's how we grow at RPL. From kids to grown-ups, every book helps your mind bloom this summer. Visit rpl.org to find summer fun near you and start growing at your library today.
Good morning. Starting out cloudy on this Wednesday, but things getting better as the day goes on. Sunshine later on this afternoon, or at least partial sunshine. Afternoon highs near 86. A little on the breezy side. Winds gusting as high as 20 out of the south-southeast. Considerable clouds tonight. Maybe a shower or two overnight. We'll get down to 76. And on Thursday, partly cloudy skies. The chance of a few showers. Afternoon highs near 90. For the Cenla Broadcasting Weather Center, I'm Dave Grayson.
If you'd like to take part in the show today, call the BOM Bank Talk line at 442-8255. That's 442-TALK. And remember, if you're looking to purchase or refinance your home, call Christina Bagwell at the BOM Bank Mortgage Department at 448-2430.
970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO. Now back to Talk Back.
All right, we're back on Talk Back. It is Wednesday, and it is the third Wednesday of the month. And as we always do at this time and on this day, we talk with the superintendent of Rapides Parish Schools. Normally joins us in the studio, but he's at a superintendent's conference down in Lake Charles this week. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Hey, Al. I'm doing great. How are you guys this morning?
Doing well. Thanks so much for joining us. I hope you're staying dry down there.
I'm doing the best I can. Had to get out yesterday and drive to Baton Rouge for the Legislative Audit Advisory Committee meeting on the executive order. So kind of trying to bounce between the raindrops a little bit.
Right. So the executive order that you're talking about is basically the one from the governor, right, that would take $170 million in funding for schools and use that money instead for the stipends for teacher pay raises. Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah, that is correct. That's when he announced that a few weeks ago. It's created quite a storm around the state. So lots of conversations and I hate to use the word, but maneuvering, it looks like, regarding it.
So what was the meeting like yesterday? What kind of came of it, if anything?
Yeah, so I'll say I appreciated the meeting yesterday. It was not a meeting where any type of decision was made. As I appreciated, the intent of that meeting was specifically for that committee or that council to just glean information, particularly from the Legislative Auditor's Office and the LDOE and Board of Elementary and Secondary Education's office regarding these fund balances that Governor Landry seems to have been captivated with, and specifically stating that school systems are just sitting on these buckets of money that we're choosing not to give to employees. And so, Senator Luno, who's, our senator right there from Alexandria, Pineville area, he's the chair of that committee, and Representative Schermerhorn from the Leesville area, he's the vice chair. And then several other state reps and senators make up the committee. And so really it was just an opportunity for all of them to ask questions about the fund balance situation that school systems are holding.
I know that Louisiana Radio Network did an interview with you last week, and you were pretty clear that you are very concerned about the loss of that funding and the impact that it'll make on your district.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, you cut $5.3 million out of a $137 million pot of money that is, for all practical purposes, for decades has been considered continued revenue from one year to the next. I mean, I don't know any business that wouldn't be hurt with that kind of a loss. I mean, you're talking 4% reduction in revenue, and then expected to not miss any, lose out on any critical program services personnel that you're providing for students. And so, the issue is, that the governor and those that are talking about it are saying, even the legislative auditor yesterday, that, a lot of school systems can absorb this, one time, and then we'll just move on with the MFP task force. But obviously the concern is that we have operated as a state for decades as if K-12 funding through the MFP is constitutionally protected. But what the governor has proven with his executive order is that there is some leverage points in the law that allow him to cut funds like the MFP by up to 5%. When he deems it necessary. And so there's just a lot of layers of concern here. And even the legislative auditor yesterday pointed out that there are at least 4 or 5 districts in the state that they know will not be able to do what the executive order is saying. So it's just, there's a lot to it. And now we're getting additional information. Like the governor posted something on social media yesterday or the day before saying that, but districts that were already given increases, well, they're going to be exempt. Well, that's not what the executive order says. And so legislators are being asked to vote for an executive order that says one thing, but they're being told by the governor something different from what the executive order says.
So I know that it's going to take a 2/3 vote from the legislature, both the House and the Senate. Are you hearing any feedback from our local legislators about how they might vote on it?
Not specifically, Al. I can tell you that I've reached out to most of our local representatives, as have many of their constituents. I had the opportunity to present before some, a caucus of representatives that represent a swath from around the state. A lot of them are saying things like, they hear us and they understand, but they also, there's a bunch of bills that they worked through their respective houses and through the Senate. And, so it's, for lack of a better word, this kind of cat and mouse game. Are their bills going to get signed, or these other projects that they've put into the budget or that they're expecting to get paid? Is it going to be the executive order, or is it going to be these? That's kind of what we're being told is the dilemma.
Wow. Well, I know it's frustrating because had the amendment passed on the last primary vote, that would have directed money toward paying off the retirement system debt. As you've eloquently stated many times, you could have provided these pay increases with just the difference in what you're having to send to the state every year in interest payments.
Yeah, I share the governor's frustration in the fact that Amendment 3 didn't pass. And, it's kind of one of those just bad budgetary dilemmas that you're trying to do the right thing, and it just doesn't get the votes to pass. And as I've talked to some of the folks around the governor's office and those that were really hoping it would pass, it's, if you go back and look, Al, I can't remember if you and I talked about this, but if you go back and look at the early voting, it actually looked like it was promising. I think both here locally in Rapides Parish and statewide. I mean, I think statewide it was right at 50-50 with a few more votes in support of. With early vote counts, but then, man, as the night went on, it just got ugly,
Mm-hmm.
And so you got to look at what happened in that little window of time between early voting and election day, and you look at what happened with the congressional maps and the things that went on with that. You also look at some of the things that came out about the Gator bill that some take that as anti traditional public education, so things like that really mobilized people that just didn't trust that what we were being told was going to happen when Amendment 3 passed was really going to happen. So, you got to reflect back, and, I don't know if the governor has any intentions of ever trying to bring it back in a less divisive, political environment or not. But, I still stand in the corner that paying off debt is a good thing.
Yeah, for sure. Dave Ramsey would agree with you. All right. Well,
rice and beans.
That's right.
That's right. That's exactly right.
The state, you need those envelopes,
Yeah, that's right.
Stop being so freaking stupid.
Right. All right. We need to take a break. Jeff Powell is our guest. When we come back, we're going to talk taxes, tax renewals specifically.
Oh, yay.
Talkback, Central Louisiana's longest-running talk show, is now everywhere you are. Talkback is now streaming live on X at Cenla Update, plus Facebook and YouTube at KSYL.
At Trinity Health Pace Alexandria, we listen first, then bring the right care to you. From medical care and social activities at our center to home care, transportation, and more. We help seniors stay healthy, independent, and connected to what they love. From empathy to expertise, we see all of you. Call 318-206-1020. That's 318-206-1020. Or visit thpace-alexandria.org to learn more about Trinity Health Pace Alexandria.
Attention all real estate agents, property owners, and lenders. When you or a client needs a real estate attorney, call the professionals at Thompson Law Firm. Whether the legal matter is basic or complex, the Thompson Law Firm can accurately guide you or your client to a successful outcome. That's why numerous industry professionals have trusted the Thompson Law Firm for years. They also handle estate planning, successions, and business law. Call them at 473-0052. I am a paid non-client attorney spokesperson.
Babbel proudly presents The Bookstore Bungle.
Librairie means library in French, right?
Yeah, obviously.
I just love a library.
The French are so loud, though.
Yeah. Hey, be quiet. This is a library. S'il vous plaît.
Ce n'est pas une bibliothèque.
Bibliothèque? I think that's Spanish, ma'am.
You are in a bookstore, not a library.
Oh. No more bookstore bungles with Babbel.
Ah, touriste.
Learn to speak like a local and act like one too. Practice with Babbel's guided conversations based on real situations. Get up to 50% off on your Babbel subscription when you sign up at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com to get up to 50% off. Babbel.com.
Now back to Talk Back, 970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO.
All right, we're back on your Wednesday morning. Superintendent Jeff Powell is on the phone with us. And one thing that we also want to talk about is the fact that right now people are early voting, and that's leading up to the June 27th race, which will be the primary runoff race. But we've got several renewals that'll be happening in Rapides Parish, one that is parish-wide, and then a couple of districts, Pineville and Poland specifically. So, Superintendent Powell, I know we're in a time where a lot of anti-tax sentiment, but these are simply renewals that you have on the ballot.
Yeah, absolutely. We want to remind folks that these are not new bonds. These are no new taxes. These are simply the recurring maintenance and general fund taxes that keep our schools and our school system running. We got the parish-wide general fund tax that helps make sure that the utilities stay on in our schools. I mean, I don't know if people realize we pay between $6 to $7 million in utilities when you talk about water, gas, electricity, all of the things. You talk about fuel for our buses. You talk about things like our hospitalization, our healthcare insurance that continuously goes up. But again, all of these are renewals. Nothing is a new tax. We have them at Poland, we have them in Pineville, and we also have them right there in District 62. So, specifically for District 62, which is the city of Alexandria, again, we don't want people to be confused about the bond versus the maintenance taxes. It's nice that we got this shot in the arm with the new the bond a few years ago, but we still have to maintain these buildings and keep them operational and keep the air conditioner on and all of these things. So again, no new taxes. These are renewals on existing maintenance taxes that have been on the books for decades to try to take care of our facilities and ensure that we have safe operational facilities for our students to learn and our employees to work.
Yeah. Obviously, taxes are never a sexy topic to talk about, but this is the money that, as you're saying, really is so essential when you talk about those general operating funds. Speaking of which, so I know part of that money goes towards, as you mentioned, fuel for buses. How does the fluctuation in gas prices and just the last 4 or 5 months with prices going up, does that get tricky in terms of budgeting? How do you all manage that?
Yeah, I've actually got a little bit of a grin on my face, Al, because that's one of the things that we were kind of criticized for at the hearing yesterday, for having fund balances to accommodate for things like changes, fluctuations in prices of fuel. When you think, and I don't quote me on this, but I'm guessing that we're paying at least, $1.50 more or so for diesel today than we were at the beginning of the school year. And, every year we budget additional funds in what's considered a fund balance, a positive little savings account, just in case things like this happen. Now, some years it's great. Some years it actually decreases. And so that becomes a savings for the district. But we have to have funds in these accounts to make sure we can offset those things and not end the year in a deficit. The other thing I like to remind voters about, Alan, I've said on the show before, is when it comes to the maintenance of buildings and facilities, we need everybody to remember that we get no additional funding from the state or the federal government for the maintenance of buildings. If I've said it before, if a community wants a school in their community, they have to pay for it. There's no other funding source. In fact, I heard a statistic the other day that I think Louisiana is one of only a dozen or so states that doesn't fund the maintenance or physical plan of buildings from the state level. So anyway, just a little note for everybody to remember that local revenue has to be generated in order to maintain our buildings.
And as we've seen in the past, in Rapides Parish, people love them some buildings.
And you love that quote, don't you?
I'll never forget it. I have it written on the wall here. No, just kidding.
Yeah. So we obviously we tell people we can't tell them how to vote, but please be informed as you punch that button or pull that lever, whatever the case may be. And these are essential renewals for the operation of our facilities.
Another topic I guess we could talk a little bit about, and if people follow Stephen on his Facebook page, they saw this news the other day that you announced that all enrolled students for the next year will be getting free breakfast and free lunch every school day for the academic year. Talk about that program. So this has been probably since just before COVID. Our parish has qualified thanks to Miss Irma Davis and our school food service staff that work hard to get resources to support our students. No student has to pay for their breakfast or their lunch at any time throughout the school year, and we're going to keep doing that. And, it's funny. That's one of the things I see sometimes people post on social media. If we want to fix things, we need to make sure, kids shouldn't have to pay to eat. And, we've been like that for 4 or 5 years now. So we're happy that we're able to continue that and look forward to making sure that our students get great meals throughout the year. Do you get any kind of pushback on that? Because obviously there are people coming from families that have probably plenty of money to pay for that. So why does that program enfold all students into that one category?
It's through some federal funding programs, and it's based on the overall economic situation of the parish or the whole community that qualifies you for it. So it's not. I understand how some people look at it. Well, somebody's paying for it. You know what I mean?
Right,
and that's true. Somebody's paying for it. But, like I've told folks at different times, you're right. Somebody's paying for it and somebody's getting it. So we might as well be on the list to get it. And so, obviously, folks can still bring their lunch if they want to bring their lunch, but it is a free resource for every student enrolled in Rapides Parish Public Schools.
Free Friday pizza. I would have taken that when I was in school.
That's right. If it were the old traditional pizza and corn, I think we all would.
And chocolate milk. So part of this too, you're asking parents to complete a survey, a household survey.
Yeah. So back in the old days, everybody would have to fill out an actual application, and basically everybody was put into these categories of free lunch, reduced lunch, or full pay lunch. We don't have to do those anymore. However, it is extremely important that we do get a family income survey completed for every family, because we still have to collect information that qualifies us for these things. And we need people to remember and understand that our state and our federal funding is tied very closely to the income of our population. So as those income surveys are completed, they're submitted, and the state that determines one of the factors in our MFP that we've been talking a lot about is what percentage of our students are identified as economically disadvantaged. And they use that same number to determine our level of federal funding. And so if we don't have that information, then we risk losing funding in those categories.
A couple of positive things we want to kind of end with. Number one, you got the news that the parish is now ranked 9th statewide for early literacy.
Top 10.
Nice.
It's extremely exciting, and again, a testament to the hard work of our students and their families, as well as the teachers who are working so hard in kindergarten through third grade to ensure that the literacy foundation that our students need to be successful throughout life is being laid. And so kudos to all of those that are working so hard with that, and the literacy buses doing pop-up literacy events, the books that we're able to give out, all the various sponsors. I always like to give kudos to Red River Bank, who has been a great sponsor for our literacy initiatives over the last several years. But really everybody, this is a community win. As we all keep focusing on literacy, we're going to continue to see our students perform better and better.
And last thing I want to end on, this is such a cool story. You have a recent graduate of Ash, Clark Wright. He was accepted to all 3 military academies. That's incredible.
Yeah. I don't know, the history behind how many young people have ever been able to say that they had their pick of military academies to go to. But Clark is an exceptional young man, comes from an exceptional family, and super proud to celebrate with him and his family over that opportunity. I know he's going to get to join some of his friends who are already in the military academies. They graduated from Ash last year and got to run into some of those here just recently. And so excited for Clark and the entire family.
And by the way, folks, he's going to the Air Force Academy.
That's right.
Be commissioned as a second lieutenant in the Air Force. That's not too shabby.
Exciting times.
For sure. All right. Well, speaking of exciting times, I know you have a conference day ahead of you down in Lake Charles with all the other superintendents. So hope you all have a great time down there.
Thanks, Al. Thanks, Stephen. Good to talk with you guys.
Yes, sir. Thank you. That's Jeff Powell, Rapides Parish Superintendent, our guest on Talkback every third Wednesday of the month. We'll take a break. More coming up.
Taking part in the show is easy. Call the BOM Bank Talk Line at 442-8255.
Early voting already started. Julia Letlow still refuses statewide television debates. Why is Letlow refusing to debate? Letlow fails to support the MAGA Trump agenda. Letlow supports DEI racial quotas. John Fleming opposes DEI quotas. Letlow voted to spend billions on the corrupt U.S. foreign aid program, which funded abortions and sex reassignment. Fleming opposes such corrupt use of our tax dollars. Letlow supports the Green New Deal scam, carbon capture sequestration. John Fleming strongly opposes this scam. Letlow supports this Green New Deal scam while her fiance is a big-time lobbyist for carbon sequestration. That's big money. Letlow failed to timely report hundreds of congressional stock trades. Fleming never traded stock while in Congress. Letlow has been reported to Justice Department for campaign finance violations. Fleming self-funds his campaign. Letlow refuses to debate. John Fleming, military veteran, Trump's former deputy chief of staff, strongly conservative. Principles before politics. Fleming, Senate.
I'm John Fleming, and I authorized and paid for this ad.
A man's word should still mean something. Honesty matters. Character matters. So when John Fleming was hauled into court twice in 2 months for running untruthful ads filled with lies, and twice forced to take down the lies, that tells you everything about who Fleming really is. Fleming's lies couldn't hold up before a judge, and his lies shouldn't hold up with you. Fleming hasn't just been lying in his ads. He's been lying to cover up his liberal record. Fact. In Congress, Fleming voted against Republican border security funding. Fact. Fleming gave your tax dollars to Barack Obama to protect sanctuary cities and block the deportation of illegals. Fact. Fleming lied about his job with President Trump. Lie after lie after lie. John Fleming is a fraud who cannot be trusted. Visit FlemingIsAfraud.com. Accountability Project paid for and is responsible for this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. AccountabilityProject.la.
Attention Ram owners. Complete Recall 67A. Get $500 and a chance to win a getaway to Miami for two to see the final race of the season. Plus, meet Brendan Butterbean Queen. Learn more and schedule at CumminsRecall.com.
I start every workday morning off the same way. I stop in and pick up breakfast at Wilmore's Mobile and Sub Express. It's convenient, quick, and oh so good. Croissants, biscuits, breakfast subs, and their hot coffee is the perfect pick-me-up. They always ask me why I'm in such a good mood when I get to work. Improve your mood. Stop by Wilmore's any weekday morning from 6 till 9 and get your day started right. That's Wilmore's Mobile and Sub Express right there on the corner of North MacArthur Drive and Bayou Rapides Road.
Ever wonder what happens to commercial jets when they've outlived their usefulness? From America's #1 travel radio show, this is your Arm World Travel Minute. I'm Rudy Maxa. Spread over the Mojave Desert or in the mountainous Aragon region of Spain are acres of parked plains in what the industry calls boneyards. In the sparsely populated region of Aragon province in Spain, 130 workers tend to 3 square kilometers of parked plains. The region's dry, salt-free climate helps prevent corrosion. Workers perform weekly maintenance, including preserving engines and rotating wheels in case the planes are needed again. The same goes for the boneyards of Arizona. I have visited a couple, and while some of the planes appear ready for service, and they are, many have been picked apart, their parts used to repair other in-service aircraft. You can take photos of these boneyards, both in Arizona and Spain, but no visitors are permitted inside protective fences. Most planes still wear the names and colors of the last airlines for which they flew. One day, they'll all be scrapped for their metal. More travel info at armworldtravel.com.
Now back to Talk Back, 970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO.
All right, got about 30 seconds left before top of the hour. The music starts to roll, so we've got a full open talk hour, open line hour coming up in hour number 2, and a number of topics we'll get to. A lot of interesting things going on in the world, especially Great Britain right now.
Great Britain.
Yeah.
I have nothing important to say today. I'm just making jokes. I'm sorry.
You're like that guy in History of the World Part 1 in the French Revolution. I've got nothing for sale. Absolutely nothing. Because poverty was so bad.
Oh, at 38.
Yeah.
How about that?
You were saved by the music.
I'll have something important to say hour number 2. Stick around.
All right. Can't wait. Waiting with bated breath, which is better than bad breath. We'll see you in a few minutes.
You've been listening to Talkback. The opinions expressed were those of the hosts and callers, and not necessarily those of Cenla Broadcasting.
AM 970, FM 104.9, KSYO, and KRRV 100.3 HD3, Alexandria. It's 8 o'clock.
A warning to Iran ahead of a deal signing Friday. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
It's a memorandum of understanding, and if I don't like it, we'll go back to shooting at them, dropping bombs on their head.
President Trump at the G7 summit this morning again touts the deal will prevent Iran from building nuclear weapons, setting up more negotiations, while also reopening the Strait of Hormuz fully for oil and other shipping.
The stock market has gone through the roof, and oil has come tumbling down.
Fox's Peter Ducey reports from the summit.
Here in France, President Trump is speaking directly to the many, many critics of this memorandum of understanding, basically telling them that he had to do something to stop the economic damage.
The Strait would never open because they don't like floating billion-dollar ships up and down a strait when there are rockets flying over them and mines all over the place.
And the biggest issue that people seem to have with this Iran agreement is giving them access to a $300 billion reconstruction fund. He won't be handing the regime a big check or even a dime.
Another potential conflict for the deal and concern, Iran's demand Israel stop attacking Iran-based and backed Hezbollah militants.
There are reports out of southern Lebanon of renewed Israeli airstrikes against Hezbollah. This is an important point to remember because just last night, the military command in Iran threatened to bomb Israel if they continue strikes against Hezbollah in Lebanon.
Fox's Trey Yingst in Tel Aviv. A fiery crash late last night on a highway in Laredo, Texas. A small plane came down on the road hitting a car. One of the 6 people on the flight was killed, but 5 others were rescued.
Dramatic video shows bystanders and first responders rushing to help passengers out as flames tear through this aircraft. They propped open the door and 2 men were seen climbing out. The victims were then rushed to the hospital.
Fox's Carly Shimkus. An update to the economy. We shot more last month. Retail sales rose more than expected from April, up 0.9%. America's listening to Fox News.
If you want unlimited talk, text, and data on a crazy fast network, Big Wireless will sell it to you right now for as little as $70 a month. Or you can buy it from Pure Talk for half of that. I'm talking about unlimited talk, text, and unlimited data for just $34.99 a month. Stop paying the big guys twice what you need to. Dial pound 250, say my name. That's pound 250 micro to switch to Pure Talk, where the savings are truly unlimited.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit information kit. 800-809-7171. That's 800-809-7171.
3 Republicans President Trump endorsed for Senate, all won primaries and runoffs. In Oklahoma, Congressman Kevin Hern won. Doesn't know his Democratic opponent yet, though, for an open Senate seat. Neither Nikila Jasmine Thomas and Jim Priest, they got neither 50% of the vote in their primary, so they'll be in an August runoff. In Alabama's Senate race, Trump-backed Barry Moore won and will face Democrat Everett West. The Trump-backed Senate candidate also won in Georgia, but voters went against the president there in the governor's race.
President's 11th hour pick, Republican Congressman Mike Collins. He defeats former college football coach Derek Dooley. Dooley was endorsed by outgoing Governor Brian Kemp. Collins will go on to battle incumbent Democratic Senator Jon Ossoff. President Trump reacting with, quote, "So happy for highly respected Congressman Mike Collins. I'll be doing big Trump rallies for Mike in Georgia." Now, in the state's Republican runoff for governor, Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones leaned heavily on being the Trump-backed candidate, but billionaire healthcare executive Rick Jackson, he spent heavily, and he's going to face off against Keisha Lance Bottoms in November.
Fox's Alexandria Hoff. 2 people are dead in California after being swept out to sea while napping on rocks at a beach in the San Francisco Bay Area. They were rescued but died later. Now an update on the Americans put in quarantine after being taken off that cruise ship stricken by a hantavirus outbreak. Many have been allowed to leave, but one woman says she feels like a hostage.
Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is overruling a federal medical review and keeping Angela Perryman at a quarantine facility in Nebraska. It's been 5 weeks since she left a cruise ship in the South Atlantic following a hantavirus outbreak that killed 3. She's shown no symptoms and had been cleared to leave confinement, but Kennedy intervened. An HHS spokesperson said the extended isolation was necessary to ensure her safety, adding Perryman's home state of Florida is not complying with federal monitoring conditions.
That's Tom Graham. I'm Dave Anthony, and this is Fox News.
Louisiana Radio Network News. I'm Michelle Southern. We've got quite an active weather pattern headed this way as a tropical disturbance moves inland later tonight. LSU health climatologist Barry Keim says the biggest threat is lots of rain.
Widespread rainfall totals 4 to 8 inches, but I would not be surprised to see some areas with even higher amounts, and some isolated areas could see 12 inches or more.
DOTD says we need to be extra careful on the roads.
It's called flash flood for a reason. It happens in a flash.
As such, Rodney Mallett with DOTD says you need to stay extra alert when driving in heavy downpours. Mallett says the state will stay on top of any and all road closures through the 511 app, but even if the road is shown to be open, don't let your guard down.
Sometimes in these flash flood situations, the flooding can occur before we can get it up on 511.
And if you see a section of roadway that's washed out, even if it looks like nothing more than a puddle, the best policy is to turn around and don't drown. I'm Andrew Greenstein.
Louisiana Radio Network. State lawmakers heard from school districts Tuesday who are concerned about Governor Landry's plan for a $2,000 pay bump for teachers. The executive order calls for the state to reduce public school funding by nearly $170 million to cover the cost. Alexandria Senator Jay Luno says most districts have the money and the legislature would have to help those who don't.
See if there's any other savings that we've realized in any other places, and through joint budget, we could possibly get those folks some money.
Lawmakers have until next Tuesday to vote on the order. A sting operation results in the arrest of 10 people, including a St. Mary Parish Corrections deputy. Sheriff Gary Driscoll says investigators launched Operation Bear Trap after getting information that 49-year-old Ernest Leday was bringing contraband into the jail and giving it to certain inmates, allegedly.
We started listening to phone calls and surveillance, and we was able to obtain enough information and probable cause to make the arrest on several people.
No bail has been set for Leday or his alleged co-conspirators at this time. Michelle Southern, LRN.
Hey, Louisiana, it's Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser. This September, Keep Louisiana Beautiful will launch Love Our Waterways, a month-long statewide cleanup to help preserve the beauty of all our waterways, including our lakes, rivers, and bayous. Volunteer to clean up litter by boat or on land along the shore. Get on board at lovelawaterways.org. That's lovelawaterways.org. I'll see you there.
Good morning. Starting out cloudy on this Wednesday, but things get better as the day goes on. Sunshine later on this afternoon, or at least partial sunshine. Afternoon highs near 86. Little on the breezy side. Winds gusting as high as 20 out of the south-southeast. Considerable clouds tonight. Maybe a shower or two overnight. We'll get down to 76. And on Thursday, partly cloudy skies. The chance of a few showers. Afternoon highs near 90. From the Cenla Broadcasting Weather Center, I'm Dave Gratian. It's Talkback, Central Louisiana's longest-running talk show. Whether it's the guests or the callers, Talkback is where Central Louisiana begins its conversation.
The lack of clean water, the lack of medical attention, the lack of education. I would urge you as a Christian and as a father to visit those detention centers where the children are being held and make sure that the conditions are up to the values that we hold in this country.
So you guys have thrown a lot at me, and I see we got 30 seconds left here. But let me say,
You're
number
the Vice
one,
President. You can go long.
I'd like to pick up on this theme because I think it's really important. We do have to strike a balance, of course, between enforcing our laws. We don't want to dehumanize people. That is the balance that, look, law enforcement, what I'd say about this, law enforcement is always inherently not a very pretty process, especially when you're dealing sometimes with violent people, with people who are resisting arrest. Some of the people that I've been told by the media were completely peaceful, had never violated any laws. You actually look into the record and you find out that those people were actually being violent, or they did have a criminal record. They had a sex trafficking conviction.
Don't have criminal records. So the majority of people that ICE is rounding up and taking out of their homes from their families, they're separating families. They're using children as bait.
But
the majority are not criminal.
But can I respond to that, guys? Let me just say this. Okay. So you talk about the children. Here's what I'd say. Do we know that during the last administration, we had tens of thousands of children who were sex trafficked by the cartels, who were brought into our country in profoundly dangerous and predatory conditions?
Let's talk about this administration.
But here's the point. Unless you enforce the border, you invite that kind of conduct. You think that our immigration policies are inhumane based on the reporting of one person with a political bias. What I'm telling you is that it's inhumane to allow cartels to sex traffic people across our border. And by the way,
please hold on.
I appreciate that.
All right, welcome back for hour number 2. J.D. Vance, the Vice President, was on The View yesterday.
I didn't see that. I gotta watch that.
Bro, we must live in different timelines.
Seriously. Well, yours is probably like, presidential, federal government news is what your algorithm is. So
somewhat that in sports. Yeah. But yeah, no, he went on The View promoting his new book that has just come out, and just kind of sparred with them. What's interesting when I listen or watch that clip is you see how many of the View hosts are coming from narratives that they've been told, and JD's kind of spitting back at them with some factual information. The national media really has not covered the atrocities that children went through under the last administration with the illegal immigration. The estimates were over 300,000 kids that just went missing or were unaccounted for. And if you listen to like Tom Homan and other people with immigration, reports some of these kids have said being raped hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times, being brought in specifically for sex trafficking. It really should be a national scandal. There should be people from the last administration going to prison for this. Just like in England, Great Britain, what has come out over the last, yesterday there was released a report, and it's called the Rape Gang Inquiry. That rape gangs, mostly made up of Pakistani Muslims that have been brought into their country, operated in at least 149 local authority districts with up to, they're saying, listen to this number, at least 250,000 young white British girls who were subjected to rape, trafficking, and torture. And the number is probably higher, they're saying. And this is women or young girls that reported it as it was being done were not being listened to. They were being shamed and sent right back by the social workers. I mean, it is one of the most horrific. This should be like the biggest story in the world right now. If you get a chance to just go to, I even did a search for Google. I just put in rape gang inquiry. There's nothing that comes up on it, but it's all over X, especially, someone like Matt Walsh tweeted out about it, saying, what a horrible, one of the worst scandals in the history of the world. And he's right. So I don't know why it is that we have all the obsession, and I'm not discounting it at all, over the Epstein files. But then stories like this just get completely ignored, especially by the very people that claim to be so concerned about the children. So
yeah, I haven't heard anything about it.
That's
which
amazing.
doesn't mean that
it's
not important. Because,
right.
As you know, I didn't even know that he was on The View. But,
yeah. Well, I mean, I realize you're spending your days running after tons of local stories, and you're doing an amazing job with that. So that's a lot of where your focus is. And I get to just scroll through my Twitter account.
No, I mean, it's just, to be honest with you, you kind of get exhausted by news when you're surrounded by it 24/7.
Yeah,
so
no, I
you
agree.
go
I get
home and
that.
I'll just read the Bible instead. I don't know. So,
Yeah.
Or take care of my rambunctious child. So.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. All right. 318-442-8255 is our phone number here on Talkback. And let's go to the phones this morning. Good morning. You're on Talkback.
Hey, good morning. Thank you for taking my call. That's the best recipe for joy, Stephen. Reading the scriptures and playing with your baby girl. But I commend our vice president for going into the lion's den there. But if you notice, their arrogance and their emotionalism inoculates them against any facts that he brought. Right. It's like a wall. They don't hear any of it. It breaks on the rocks of their hatred of Donald Trump, and it falls away. People like that cannot be reasoned with. And part of that problem we saw in the 250, the MMA deal. I don't know if y'all heard about the attack that was thwarted just minutes before going on. And look, it was the grace of God. This young man's mother broke into his phone and found some disturbing messages, so she called the police. Other than that, they were ready. They were ready to pull this thing off. Wow. And look, when lefties go bad, go violent, it's bad, and it's usually one or two. But these young men, they were from the right. And they coordinated with this young man.
I'm not sure about that. I'm going to push back on you because I'm seeing a lot on Twitter that's saying that they aren't from the right.
I don't think all of them were.
Right. Yeah.
But this is the problem. This is the problem I see. Many of the messages that they found on these boys' phones were from the Tucker Carlson wing. Now, I don't call that the right. I call it the extreme right, the anti-government right.
People are calling that now on Twitter. They're calling it the woke right.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen that.
Or the horseshoe right.
Mm-hmm.
I have. And because true conservatism is in the middle. We are not the right. We are the middle. Far left is total government. Far right is no government, anarchy. And we're a constitutional republic in the middle. But Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens and even Megyn Kelly have been promoting this anti-Trump series that he's in with Jeffrey Epstein and he's in with Benjamin Netanyahu, and he's our country is captive to Israel. And so they take all the ugliness of Jeffrey Epstein and then they smear it across everything that is MAGA. And it justifies in these boys' minds this kind of drastic action. And this young man has spent all of he just graduated high school. He got $3,500. He spent it all on weapons and ammunition. And they were ready to pull the trigger. They were going to use drones, off-the-shelf drones, to drop some explosives to get people running. And then they were going to position themselves as sniper nests, and they were going to take out a bunch of people. It had been difficult to find them and get to them during all that mayhem. And so ideas count. But ideas count when people are open to ideas. And once the left has inoculated a mind against truth, Marx was excellent at persuading people like Bernie Sanders and AOC, and his from the pit of hell ideas are still permeating our thought today in our country, and they're raising up some people that will do some very bad things. The Wright Report did a good job on it this morning, and we need to be wary of these people. There's several politicians from the Republican Party that are in on this. That they're disgraced now because they fell out of favor with Trump, but they've taken this Epstein thing and they're using a vacuum of truth, a vacuum of facts to say that these people must be in on it and they're pedophiles. And what would you not do to a pedophile? Look, I wish I could do some things to pedophiles, but we understand they're taking it in the wrong direction. They get that sympathy, and then they're giving them leftist goals that help. And so the Democrats are going to be all for this stuff. So we're in for a wild ride over the next 10 to 20 years until this stuff is proven to be false. And it's got to come through better parenting and raising of kids to think and to analyze these ideas without just grabbing them whole heart. Anyways, that's my piece.
One of
Thanks
the
for listening.
biggest,
Have a great day.
One of the biggest political commentators online is Nick Fuentes.
Yep.
I don't even know what you call him. They call him far right. I mean, he's pretty much a Nazi, I think.
He is.
But I mean, he's got the hearts and minds of a lot of young men.
He does.
And that sentiment is a weaker form of it is kind of moving throughout some of the right social media sphere.
Mm-hmm.
And they're even putting him on like mainstream stuff. Like,
I know.
They're elevating him by getting his outlandish commentary.
They have successfully embedded into the minds of a lot of young men that voted for Trump, for example, that Trump is controlled by Israel. The Iran war is all about being pushed by Israel. So, like with these young men in this planned attack, they were communicating each other through an app that's called Signal. You might remember earlier in the year, we had the story with Pete Hegseth, information that was shared on a Signal chat.
Yeah.
So there were 23 people in this chat group. Their goal was to target capitalist elites. So that's what I'm saying. That's why I push back on saying that they're coming from the right. Capitalist elites, billionaires, or politicians who receive donations from AIPAC, which is the American Israel Public Affairs Committee. So there is the dangerous thing or the scary thing right now about just kind of the culture we live in is you have so many young people and young men in this case, and sometimes we're seeing it with young women. Look at how many shootings we've had carried out by transgender people. But they're being indoctrinated with these ideas that it's almost like a vigilante justice, that we're going to take this on ourselves to do this. Yeah, I mean, Day was right. Thank God that the guy's mom, kind of stumbled into this and discovered it. But it's some scary stuff.
Well, I think we kind of been missing the point the past couple of months or over the year where like it's a right, it's a left thing. It's just a internet indoctrination problem.
Yeah.
And I think having our children and teenagers chronically online 24/7 has had more cons than pros for their development.
Yeah.
I could see adults completely change their viewpoint because their algorithm was going a certain way.
100%.
And then you see it over and over and over again, and you hear a one-sided argument, and it makes sense in your head. Like it's happened to me before, not like in an extreme way, but in certain things. But we got to get grounded back to reality. And it's an internet problem.
Yeah.
We need to get our kids off the internet. I'm sorry.
No,
That's
you're
my
right.
opinion.
I mean, even, I see stories come out. There was just one this week that I was reading about how the population rate is decreasing so severely because they're saying ever since iPhones came out, people are having less children. That's interesting. Now correlation is not causation, but we're just seeing so many they're as great as social media can be and as great as technology can be. I mean, the reality is there are just people in this world who can't handle it, who can't sort through the noise and get sucked into it to the point where they're willing to do something like this. Now, like one of the guns they pictured from this group, it's got like a USA flag on there. So when we say right, I would never link like this kind of mindset with people that are like truly conservative. And unfortunately, there will be people that do that.
Or not say, I don't think they're going to say that they're conservative, but like if you look at a political spectrum, they'll probably land more on the
right wing.
The right wing.
Yeah. But it just shows those extreme wings both can be pretty dangerous.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter for his right. I mean, I guess it does, but it's political extremism and indoctrination from the internet.
Yeah, exactly.
And these kids can't handle it, man. Look how easily it's happening.
Yep, you are correct, sir.
And I've seen some voracious young adults, not even teenagers, voraciously love MAGA Trump, and now all of a sudden they don't really like him.
Yeah.
They said they wouldn't vote for him.
Yeah.
And that's fine, but I mean, it's amazing how the internet can change a mind is what I'm talking about.
Right.
So
right. All right, we'll be right back with more.
Talkback, Central Louisiana's longest-running talk show, is now everywhere you are. Talkback is now streaming live on X at Sedla Update, plus Facebook and YouTube at KSYL.
Early voting already started. Julia Letlow still refuses statewide television debates. Why is Letlow refusing to debate? Letlow fails to support the MAGA Trump agenda. Letlow supports DEI racial quotas. John Fleming opposes DEI quotas. Letlow voted to spend billions on the corrupt U.S. foreign aid program, which funded abortions and sex reassignment. Fleming opposes such corrupt use of our tax dollars. Letlow supports the Green New Deal scam, carbon capture sequestration. John Fleming strongly opposes this scam. Letlow supports this Green New Deal scam while her fiancé is a big-time lobbyist for carbon sequestration. That's big money. Letlow failed to timely report hundreds of congressional stock trades. Fleming never traded stock while in Congress. Letlow has been reported to Justice Department for campaign finance violations. Fleming self-funds his campaign. Letlow refuses to debate. John Fleming, military veteran, Trump's former deputy chief of staff, strongly conservative. Principles before politics. Fleming, Senate.
I'm John Fleming, and I authorized and paid for this ad.
Have a Class A or B CDL? Want to drive a local route every day? If you said yes, then you're who we're looking for. Waste Connections of Alexandria, Natchitoches, and Lafayette is hiring drivers with CDL license. You'll get competitive wages, paid vacations, a company stock program, a 401k with company match, medical, dental, vision, life, and disability insurance, and a local route with you at home with your family every night. Apply now at wasteconnections.com/employment. That's wasteconnections.com.
What's good for lunch? Wilmore's is good for lunch. Wilmore's Mobile and Sub Express on the corner of North MacArthur and Bayou Rapides Road. Want a fresh, crisp, healthy salad? Wilmore's has them. Garden and chef salads, tuna or chicken salads. Prefer a sandwich for lunch? Then come get them hot or cold at Wilmore's. Ham, turkey, or roast beef subs. Italian, chicken, and club subs. And their hamburger is a real standout. Your good lunch is waiting at Wilmore's Mobile and Sub Express on North MacArthur Drive at Bayou Rapides Road.
If you'd like to take part in the show today, call the BOM Bank Talk line at 442-8255. That's 442-TALK. And remember, if you're looking to purchase or refinance your home, call Christina Bagwell at the BOM Bank Mortgage Department at 448-2430.
Now back to Talkback, 970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO.
All right, we're back on Talkback. Alan and Stephen with you. 318-442-8255 is our number on the BOM Bank Talk line. Let's go to the phones. Good morning. You're on Talkback. Oops, hang on. There you go. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's only a half hour wait.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm not going to put up with that. Look, we have a show. We don't have a screen caller. If you're going to wait, it's because we're talking about things and we give people the time to properly talk about it. It shouldn't be a complaint. We let you call in every day. You always get your voice. I don't get the issue.
Okay, I'm sorry. I was trying to be joking. I was going to follow up by saying the discussions were very interesting and worth the wait.
Okay, well, good.
And I've always had that position with you fellas.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
On the way through Alexandria this morning, I'm going south. I started counting signs for billboards from Rapides Station to the other side of Alexandria. And there were 25 billboard warrior signs and 18 non-billboard warrior signs. And that reflects some of the discussions that you've been having today about, I guess, what I would say collapse of society or civil society.
Yeah. That's a good point. That is a good point. Yeah.
I mean, how do you scam the system?
Right.
Call Sam or call this guy or call that guy. So there is one lady, but she doesn't have many signs up anymore.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not just here, it's wherever you go. You know, I was in Texas a couple weeks ago. There are lawyer signs all over there, and obviously the reason they're there is because they make money, and that's how they get their clients. So, but we're a litigious society. Everybody's trying to sue somebody to get what they can, especially in the case of accidents.
Years ago, they had a play that featured the history of Alexandria. And sometime in the early 1800s, there was an attorney who was suing somebody for $5.
For $5. Well, but it was the point.
I mean, when you could buy 3 or 4 pieces of candy for a penny, $5 was a good bit of money.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I don't know. I've never, I see all these signs 24/7, and I know what state we live in. I've never even once thought about suing someone. Like, it's never crossed my mind to sue somebody. I don't know why. Maybe I should start thinking that way.
The one time I had what had been called a bad wreck, got piled into me from behind. I was told that for pain and suffering, it was appropriate to ask for about 3 times whatever your actual medical bills were. And so basically that's what I asked for. And nobody fussed a bit.
Wow.
Maybe you should sue Al for waiting on the phone too long.
I apologize for getting salty. Sometimes it just gets, we don't have a screen caller like most shows have where they can tell who's on the line, what they want to talk about. So, but and if you listen to a lot of other talk shows, they don't give their callers a lot of time. I think that's one thing we try to do is let y'all say your piece, as Dave would say. Thank you for letting me speak my piece.
Well, your situation is unique amongst all of the talk shows because you do indeed want somebody to say something.
Absolutely. I really view this show as the caller's show, when we do the open line segments.
And I used to enjoy listening to the politicians call in, even if I didn't like what they had to say, because at least you could have somebody call in and listen to them.
Right.
But anyway, it'll be interesting to see what happens. What is it, the 26th or the 27th?
Yes, sir. The 27th, week from Saturday. Early voting continues this week.
I wonder how many late mail-in ballots will be found.
Not like in California, I can assure you.
I've only mailed 3 of my 4 so far. I got to get on that last one.
That's right. All right. Thank you for the call. I appreciate it, and we'll be right back.
Taking part in the show is easy. Call the BOM Bank Talk Line at 442-8255.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Mixed picture for the outlook for stocks today, but SpaceX is headed toward a 4th day of gains since its record IPO last week. It's a big day for Fed watchers as well. The Fed widely expected today to leave interest rates unchanged. And the Trump administration hoping to hire hundreds of deal makers to help boost national security supply chains, offering salaries as high as $400,000 a year. And Apple plans to release AirPods that have cameras, computer vision cameras that feed visual content into Siri. The idea is to enable you to ask questions about something you might be looking at, like an item you might see in the fridge, like food ingredients. You could then ask Siri what you should cook for dinner. Similar experience, Apple hopes, to what someone gets from uploading photos into AI services like OpenAI's ChatGPT. And this report is sponsored by Vanguard Investor Choice, a proxy voting program for eligible Vanguard index funds. Denise Pellegrini, Bloomberg Radio.
Need office supplies, janitorial supplies, or office furniture, either new or pre-owned? Then look no further than DTW Office Supply, with wholesale prices on a large selection of top quality products, all with the personalized hometown service that you deserve. We're proud to serve the entire state of Louisiana with daily deliveries right to your door. Visit us today at 1219 MacArthur Drive or online at dtwofficesupply.com. That's DTW Office Supply, your trusted partner for all of your office needs. Quality, value, service.
Identity theft can cost more than you think. Drained investment accounts, stolen tax returns, lost wages, expenses for lawyers. It's a lot. That's why LifeLock is backed by the $1 Million Protection Package, which covers up to $1 million for stolen funds, fees, and experts and lawyers, and out-of-pocket expenses. Don't face the burden of identity theft alone. Protect your future and finances with LifeLock. Join now. Save up to 30% off your first year with promo code BECK at LifeLock.com. 1-800-LifeLock, promo code BECK. LifeLock.com. Terms to apply.
The bar's set with Top Shelf Country Cruise, and 2027 is taking it even further. You're not going to want to miss this. Sail aboard the luxurious Celebrity Summit, departing from Tampa, stopping at Bimini, Key West, and Cozumel, and catch performances by Riley Green, Chris Young, Lauren Elena, and Randy Hauser. Introducing the exclusive Veranda Plus stateroom with these amazing perks: embarkation day lunch, daily breakfast in blue, afternoon hors d'oeuvres, and a beverage package, all included. Reserve now at TopShelfCountryCruise.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Wednesday's Hump Day AFR, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. LSU running back commit Trey Segura will stop by the show, and we'll react to Lane Kiffin on Tyrann Mathieu's podcast. 3 to 6, Alexandria's 94.7 ESPN.
Well, good morning. Starting out cloudy on this Wednesday, but things getting better as the day goes on. Sunshine later on this afternoon, or at least partial sunshine. Afternoon highs near 86. A little on the breezy side. Winds gusting as high as 20 out of the south-southeast. Considerable clouds tonight. Maybe a shower or two overnight. We'll get down to 76. And on Thursday, partly cloudy skies. The chance of a few showers. Afternoon highs near 90. From the Sedlaw Broadcasting Weather Center, I'm Dave Gratian.
970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO. To take part in the show, call 442-8255. That's 442-TALK. Talk back.
I'm going to go back to The View, where the vice president was going at it with the host there.
Mm-hmm.
And we were saying that the hosts were indoctrinated or thought a certain way about the administration. But it's not too long ago the vice president himself called him, the president, a Nazi or a Hitler or something.
They actually asked him about that.
What did he say?
Let me see if I can find the clip. I'll do that while we take this next call. Good morning. You're on Talkback.
Hey, y'all ever listened to some of Hitler's speeches in English? You ever done that?
No.
In the call.
Well, you know, if you listen to them, or their own line, you can listen to them in English. If you listen to him, he makes a lot of sense when he was talking, but it just shows you how extremism can affect people. You know, Hitler ended up, you know, extremism is just not a good thing. You know, he ended up killing, about 50 million people?
I mean, they say 6 million Jews, and I'm not sure how many people died from the war. Someone out there might
In
know.
Russia, is like 20 million.
That's true.
Yeah, I think there was about 50 million people killed during World War II or something like that. There's a lot of people. But listen to his speeches. You know, there's something else too. You know why if you ever read about anti-aging technology or age reversal technology?
Not much, but I'm wondering if Rick Springfield hasn't been doing that. Have you guys seen the video that's been going around the last couple of days of him at a concert? He's got his shirt off. He's 74, and he looks like he's in his 30s. It's crazy.
Well, you know, that technology is real, and it's not going to be 100 years now. You got about 5 to 7 years, and our entire society is going to be turned upside down with technology. You know, Putin of Russia, Putin, he's spending $25 billion a year to develop this technology just himself.
Speaking of guys going around with their shirts off.
Yeah.
Al's got a catalog of.
No, remember that was like the famous shot of him on the horse, and then the guy in SNL when he imitated Putin, he'd always come out like without a shirt on.
Oh yeah.
Well, just think about how that technology is real. I'm already taking something, and think how that's going to change our society and everything.
Yeah,
it's going to turn upside down.
I don't know what's real or what's not real, but there's like a hot mic or something of China's president and like Putin and some others, and they were talking about that. But I don't know if it was real or not.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, thanks for the call. Let's see. Okay, I found the clip. We have another call coming in, but if you can hang on, we'll play this. So you raised the issue of J.D. Vance talking about his past views of Donald Trump.
First of all, it's been well covered that I was a critic of Donald Trump back in 2015 and 2016. Now, obviously, I'm sitting here as the Vice President of the United States in the Trump administration. Well, Joy, a little humility, actually. I think that when you make predictions and those predictions turn out to be false, you got to ask yourself, well, what made me wrong about that? What did I not understand or not appreciate? For example, I said that Donald Trump's economic policies would not lead to wage growth. They did in the first term. That was actually a major thing. I said that we couldn't bring back any of those factory jobs because I kind of had given into this idea that those jobs were disappearing. But actually, Donald Trump, you saw a manufacturing boom during that administration. So there's a certain point. Let me just. So there's a certain point where you say, I made predictions about this. I ended up being wrong. Yeah. And in politics and anything, I think it's important to just say, you know what? I got some things wrong, and I was wrong about him.
So that was his answer.
Well, what was the follow-up to that? Because I'd be specific on him calling him a Hitler, Mussolini made the trains run, right? So I'd be curious to see what he has to say about that. I'm not saying that's what I'm saying.
I know you can find the complete interview. It's about 24 minutes. Somebody posted it.
I'll just watch the whole thing. That's interesting. Good for him. Good for him, though.
So, I mean, you talk about a brave man. He just went and sat down with 6 women.
Well, obviously, against his policies, I'm sure.
They supposedly have one who's kind of conservative on the show, but I don't get why they don't have like 3 conservative women and 3 liberal women. Because to me, you would have more substantive discussions, maybe. But I guess you could say the same about Fox. With the 5, they really only have usually like one liberal person on, which is right now Jessica Tarloff. Is that her name?
I think so.
Yeah. I just see clips of them pummeling her.
But she's not an idiot either. Like, she does okay.
Yeah. The other guy, Harold Ford, when they sometimes have, he's actually, like, he's reasonable. Like, you can have a good discussion with him. Kind of like Bill Maher. I mean, Maher's a liberal. He's more of a classic liberal. But I appreciate some of the discussions he'll have with people, civil. But like the problem with something like The View is you have too many voices and they're all stepping on each other and cutting him off. And
yeah, but that's what people like. That's what CNN does. That's what
really
Fox does. They all do it. That's what ESPN does. Controversy is, what is it? They say controversy sells better than sex now.
Is that
Anger sells better now for TV.
Yeah.
And people like it.
Well, there are lots and lots and lots and lots of those kinds of shows out there. No shortage.
I mean, half your YouTube thumbnails are watch Billy Bob pummel John over.
I enjoy talk shows that are just like more discussions. Let's talk, whether it be among the hosts or phone calls or guests, but not just like this yelling and screaming over each other. That just
Piers Morgan's new show. It gets pretty heated.
Does it?
But I mean, it's set up to be that way.
Yeah. But Vance, I will say this. I mean, he kind of boldly went where few men have gone before. I think O'Reilly went on there one time. It was just chaos. But he's willing to. He's willing to step outside of, if you want to call it like his safe zone, and is so effective in doing that. And I'm
Yeah.
sure for their audience and even for those ladies themselves, they might have heard some things for the first time that have been presented to them instead of the normal echo chamber that they're in.
The policy aside, like Vance seems, the way he carries himself, very down to earth, very sharp.
Yeah.
And so that really helps him.
I think the way he was raised and coming from very humble background probably has a lot to do that. Seems like he has a pretty great wife too.
Rubio,
Yeah.
we'll see if Rubio goes on now to try and one up.
That's the whole kind of question right now is, will it be Rubio? Will it be Vance in 28? And if it emerges as Rubio, could Vance be a VP again? I don't know.
Probably
Or would he be?
Maybe he'll be Secretary of State.
That would be interesting.
He'd probably be good at Secretary
He
of
probably
State.
would. Yeah.
I mean, Rubio's more advanced, more experience.
Yes.
Maybe it'd be a good 2028 for conservatives, and in 2036, when Vance is, he won't even be old by then.
That's true. Yeah.
But you know good and well, it's probably not going to be 20-something years of Republican leadership.
Unfortunately.
That's the way it goes.
I mean, I'm not. If there were a sane Democrat out there, I wouldn't be completely heartbroken, I guess. But or I can just
is
be
there
like,
one Democrat nominee or potential nominee for president that you wouldn't just lose sleep over?
maybe Fetterman.
Oh, he's not going to be a legitimate candidate. There's no way.
Probably not, but I mean, he at least is rational and fair in a lot of cases. But I mean, that's the problem. Like so many of the major candidates are so radically left, and look at what our country went through in 4 years under Biden. You know, just to me, the earlier issue we talked about with the border and having all of those children go missing, and the sexual abuse that so many of them suffered, it just sickens me. It just sickens me to my stomach. Not to mention all of the beautiful young women that have been murdered by these animals that we let into the country. The young lady that was killed in Chicago, I was listening to our Fox report between 6:30 and 7 yesterday, and they had a clip of her father reading something, and it was just so powerful and yet so heartbreaking. And it was like basically his message to the politicians, especially in the state of Illinois and the city of Chicago. So anyway, all right, we'll take a break. More coming up.
Taking part in the show is easy. Call the BOM Bank Talk line at 442-8255.
A man's word should still mean something. Honesty matters. Character matters. So when John Fleming was hauled into court twice in 2 months for running untruthful ads filled with lies, and twice forced to take down the lies, that tells you everything about who Fleming really is. Fleming's lies couldn't hold up before a judge, and his lies shouldn't hold up with you. Fleming hasn't just been lying in his ads. He's been lying to cover up his liberal record. Fact. In Congress, Fleming voted against Republican border security funding. Fact. Fleming gave your tax dollars to Barack Obama to protect sanctuary cities and block the deportation of illegals. Fact. Fleming lied about his job with President Trump. Lie after lie after lie. John Fleming is a fraud who cannot be trusted. Visit FlemingIsAfraud.com. Accountability Project paid for and is responsible for this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. AccountabilityProject.la.
Remember when eating corn right off the cob was one of your favorite summertime treats? Or how about taking a big bite out of a crisp, fresh apple? If it's been a while since you enjoyed these delightful activities, chances are your teeth are no longer up for the task. But now there's great news. The folks over at Today's Dental in Pineville are Cenla's dental implant experts. They're both highly trained and experienced in the procedure. Now with thousands of completely satisfied, delighted patients. They make dental implant surgery simple by using today's most current technologies. Along with in-office IV sedation administered by a highly skilled certified nurse anesthetist, you'll be in and out before you know it without all the anxiety. Plus, at Today's Dental, their multiple finance options make the entire procedure truly affordable. Go back to crunching all your favorite foods. Give Today's Dental a call at 448-4540. It's a general dental facility on Highway 28 East in Pineville, owned by Dr. Jonas Goche. That's 448-4540.
970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO. Now back to Talk Back.
a lot of the hate comes from perceived negativity. And without getting too off track, but like the Pride Night stuff with the Giants, like I think that there's a perceived negativity with this stuff of like, okay, Landon Routt wrote a verse on his hat. That means that he's anti something. That doesn't mean that, right? It means that he's pro something, right? So the rainbow means something to him. It means that he believes in the Noahic covenant being something that's special to us as Christians, right? That means that no matter how bad we possibly could be, no matter how much we reject God, that he will never again flood the earth. That's really cool. That's really special. And we do a lot of stuff, and we're all sinful. We all do a lot of stuff that may be worthy of a flooding, but God will never flood us. And because of that promise, and his promises are unconditional. So that's something that's really cool to me, is that there's nothing negative. There's nothing anti. There's nothing that says that he doesn't support anything or that he's like hateful or anything like that at all. It's all positive. It's all like, man, this is what the rainbow means to me. And I just thought that was really cool that he did that.
All right, welcome back on Talk Back here on this Wednesday. Alan Stephen with you. That was Ryan Thompson. He's a pitcher for the Arizona Diamondbacks. And if you're like, well, wait, what's he talking about? Not sure if you've seen this. Some people have seen it. It's been kind of going around on social media. So let me set the context for you. It's been several years now that Major League Baseball teams started holding an event that they'll call Pride Night. It's a certain day of the month of June that they'll specifically have a game that caters to or is set aside for people from the LGBTQ plus community. Did I say that all right?
I don't know, man.
And as part of that, what you usually see is the home team's logo on their hats will have some kind of a rainbow variation. So they're calling like a pride hat. A couple of weeks ago when the Dodgers held theirs, for example, one of their pitchers, who is a strong Christian, just wore the regular hat. He didn't do anything to it. The other night when the San Francisco Giants hosted theirs, some of the players wrote scripture verse on there from Genesis that talks about what the rainbow and the cloud means. That is that's that Noahic covenant that he was talking about, which is what the rainbow symbolizes is a sign from God that he'll never destroy the earth again by flood. So, of course, as it is apt to do, it created talk and conversation. And yesterday, Major League Baseball came out and made a statement saying that basically that players are not allowed to alter those hats in any way by writing scripture verses on them, or they could face fines. So this has set off a whole more chain reaction where now you even have people like Senator Josh Hawley that are sending letters saying that they will be investigating Major League Baseball for violating these players' freedom of speech, freedom of expression.
I wonder though how that would hold up. Not saying I disagree with the guy's stance, but I wonder how that would hold up, because I can't just do whatever I want in my capacity as an employee of whatever company. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well,
am I missing something here?
That you're saying because they're an employee of said San Francisco Giants baseball club, if they say, okay, here's this hat, you have to wear it, that you need to do that.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm curious.
If that hat violates your personal conscience.
Yeah, maybe. That's a good point.
My thing is this.
I know someone who got fired for not doing what the company wanted. You know what I'm saying? So
really? Whatever happened to that guy? But why are we even doing this? Look, if Major League Baseball and teams decide, we want to honor that community and we're going to have this night, then that's the choice that they're making. At that point, if you're a fan that celebrates that and wants to go, you can go. If you don't, then you don't go. But for the players, they're sort of, for lack of a better term, kind of hostages in this situation. They're kind of being forced to do something that they may not want to do. And look, this is by far not the first time. I mean, if you remember during all the George Floyd stuff, you had teams that were sporting, the NFL still does it, and racism and, all that kind of stuff. But as it relates to this, here you have, I think, players that are simply saying, okay, I'll wear it, but I'm going to wear it with this context that, for me, this is what it means. This is what it symbolizes. This is why I'm wearing it. But if baseball's saying, oh, no, you can't do it, then my thing should be, then don't even do it at all. Just why? Like the Brewers had their Pride Night Friday, but I noticed that Fridays are also the night they wear their, quote, City Connect uniforms. Every team now has these special softball league, bar league looking uniforms that they wear. Some are hideous. Some are better than others. So when I turned on the game Friday, they were all wearing that. There was no variation. I'm like, okay. So they had the event, they had the game, the players went out and played. I mean, isn't that ultimately what the fans are there to see, whether you're gay or straight? Like, you just want to watch your team play. You want to watch your team win.
For the man who did that, the pitcher,
Mhm.
if you read the Bible and understand church history, Christianity is very hard and
very hard,
very difficult. You know what I mean? You're going to face persecution.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to go
Yeah.
through these things.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I didn't say bad hard. But you know what I mean?
Right.
Did you see that? You remember Avalon, that song back in the 90s? I will testify.
Yeah.
Like the colors of the rainbow and everything.
Yeah.
Well, apparently it's like making a resurgence as this is what the news says, as a queer anthem. Because apparently one of the members came out as homosexual.
Oh, okay.
And I think they had some sort of split when that first came out years ago, about 20 years ago, and now they've reconciled with each other, and now the other members of the group are on board with it.
Yeah.
And so they've reframed it and said that all along it was never really this. It was more of like a pro-LGBT type song.
Interesting.
So it's making a resurgence in that way as well.
Wow. Well, in relation to those Giants players, I'm trying to remember his name. Rob Schneider. He came out and posted saying that if they are fined by Major League Baseball, he's willing to pay their fines. So you have a lot of people that are reacting to this. I think the biggest thing is, like, don't put the players in that position, really, for any political message. Just let them go out and do what they're paid to do, and let the fans of all stripes just enjoy the games.
I'm going to go at this for like a marketing aspect. The whole, like you said, in racism thing, Pride Night, whatever it might be, the ones who are for those issues, blasting it in people's face 24/7 and forcing people to do things, it just makes it almost have the opposite effect
That's
of what
true.
you want it to do.
Yeah. I mean, we're kind of seeing
And
that.
haven't
with
understood that.
The racism stuff too. Yeah. It's like, I think in general, most Americans are like, we don't like racism. We don't want to be racist. But I know personally people that have stopped watching the NFL because it's always like in your face. They just want to watch the game.
Or I even say when I think it could be the same thing if you force places to post the 10 Commandments. It just could have the opposite effect of what you want it to do.
That's fair.
Yeah.
So,
We
anyway.
shall see. But it's San Francisco.
That too.
Yeah, it's San Francisco.
No. All right, we'll be right back.
Talkback, Central Louisiana's longest-running talk show, is now everywhere you are. Talkback is now streaming live on X at Sedla Update, plus Facebook and YouTube at KSYL.
Problems. Everybody hates them, but everybody's got them. And now that it's getting hot again, you need to know about Southern Air Heating and Cooling. Got a cooling problem? Call Southern Air. Plumbing or drain problem? It's Southern Air again. Your power's out and you need a generator? Guess who? And keep those problems away all summer long with a system tune-up. Keep your family comfortable. Call Southern Air Heating and Cooling now at 318-777-5555 or visit us online at southernairnow.com.
Hi, I'm Nancy Landry. Louisiana's elections are an important part of who we are. In 2026, closed party primaries will change how some of those elections happen, so you'll want to know what to do. Keeping your registration current ensures you'll get the right party-based ballot. Remember, this change only applies to certain offices. To learn more, visit govote.com or download the GoVote app. Know before you go.
Hey everybody, it's your boy Cupid, reminding you to make that seatbelt click every seat, every time. It's not a brand new dance, it's not a lot of trouble. Every time you drive, you gotta use a buckle. You gotta make it click or you'll be walking by yourself. Walking by yourself. Click it to Cupid, reminding you to click it every seat, every time. Brought to you by Louisiana Highway Safety Commission.
970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO. Now back to Talk Back.
All right, let's go to one last phone call for the day. Good morning, you're on Talk Back.
Yeah, I have a quick question. Y'all may have discussed this in months past, but Greg Walker no longer does his program on this.
That's correct. Yeah, he just decided after years of doing it that it was time to not do it anymore. It was just his decision. So we definitely miss him now. He did a great job.
Yeah, he did. I was just wondering that, and I hadn't heard y'all talk about it, so probably missed it. Anyway, thanks for what y'all do. You take care.
Yeah, thanks so much. Appreciate it. Very much miss having him.
Yeah, we miss Greg.
The show with us.
He was the light of the show.
He always cracked me up. He was always cracking us up. But, yeah. Hope he's doing well. I texted him the other day. I'm like, hey, we should go to lunch. I haven't heard back yet. But that's kind of normal. Usually takes him a few days to respond. He's worse than you, Steven.
I feel that, man. I feel bad sometimes. And I really don't mean to say this, but if I don't text you back, feel free to keep texting me. It's going to make me sound presumptuous. It's hard to keep up. It's not because I'm important. It's just people have all these ideas they send me. And
the tough thing is, and I can be like this too, if I don't answer it right at the moment, like there'll be so much more flying at me later that I just forget to get back.
But if I always answer in the moment, it's just like, I'll never get to live.
Right.
I'll never live.
Right. You can't be controlled by it.
I'll respond to you, Al.
Oh, well, I appreciate
you're
it.
important.
Eventually. All right. That'll do it for today. Looking forward to another great show tomorrow. So we'll talk with you at 7:15 tomorrow. Have a great day.
Great.
Yes.
Great show.